Good morning, everybody. Eddie Webb. We are here at the new Media Lab, and we are here to welcome and introduce our new CTL Instructional Technologist, Patricia Herrera. And I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Patricia Herrera, and I'm excited to be the new Center for Teaching and Learning Instructional Technologist. I'm here excited every day to come and enjoy the Mesa Community College community and teams and to be able to collaborate with everyone to learn about all the technology projects that are occurring and that are going to be occurring in the future and how we could work together for student success. So I'm happy to be here and enjoy a little bit and talk about my story.
Thank you so much for being here. So, tell us a little bit about your educational background.
Thank you that you asked that, Eddie. I'm very happy and blessed to be part of the community college. I feel that I am testament of the work that we do here in the community colleges and the students. I lived in Levine area all my entire life, and I'm a native here from Phoenix, Arizona. And I come from Hispanic culture and background where sometimes it's hard to know where your next move is going to be after high school. I did not know that I was going to have a career. I did not know I was going to go to college. I had no idea what a degree was, an associate's, bachelor's, master's. I just knew education was important. My parents always told me, go to school, finish school, but I never knew what school was, right? And in my senior year, my advisor came and asked me and said, Patricia, you're a very good student. Have you thought about going to college? And I'm like, no, because I don't have the funds or the resources to be able to continue my education. And thankfully, with the help of the advisors, and they were able to help me fill out a presidential scholarship to South Mountain Community College because I live in the South Phoenix area. And thankfully, I was granted that award, and I was very blessed to be the first generation student in my family to be able to go to college and start a new journey in my life and go through that because I have no mentor or role model in my family to say, I want to be like them because that's what they were. And I'm very happy that I'm able to be a role model for my own family and my own children because also not just thinking about being a high school senior and going to college, I was also a teen mom and facing to be a mom, a high school graduate, and getting married all at one time, and now getting a presidential scholarship and not knowing what to do with that, right? So the community college really gave me that key to success. And without that, I don't think I would be here in this room right now talking about my story and how that opened up so many opportunities when I started at South Mountain in the fall semester, taking my first computer class and knowing this is what I wanted to do in technology. I do have a passion for technology. And a lot of people think I was born with that. I probably do have a talent of being patient and teaching people, but I remember not knowing everything. And I know how frustrating it is with technology and not knowing everything and how everything moves at a fast pace and it changes. That I always have that in me to help other faculty and other students to be successful and being patient, bringing them that. And I just give you that a little bit of history before I answer how I started my career and my education. Because, like I said, I had no path. I made a lot of mistakes. And with those mistakes, I learned a lot of things. So I went off and I said I wanted to learn about computers. I said I want a certificate because I didn't know what degrees were, right? And my advisor was Buddy Cheeks at South Mountain. And the Cisco program was just starting, right? The Cisco networking, configuring the routers, the switches. And my first day of class was with Frank Torres, and he's at Glendale Community College right now. And the first day, he started talking about networks, internets, the cloud, and I had no idea what he was talking about. And at the end, I said, you know what? I'm in the wrong class because I don't know anything about this. I just want to learn about computers, but this is not it. So my world about computers was just a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse. That was my world of computers. I did not know that there was a whole internet, networks, computer, nothing, right? And Frank Torres said, "You know what, Patricia? You are the best candidate for this program because we need to demonstrate to people that anybody could come into this program and be successful." And I said, "Well, you're going to have to help me, right?" And I started that journey, and I'm glad I started out with something hard, learning about networks and configuring, because that allowed me to understand the world we live in now, that sometimes our internet's so slow or our computers are so slow and we blame it on the computer when it's the internet, right? So that has helped me teach faculty to be patient on when things are not working with the internet. Along with that, I was given the opportunity to work in the IT department at South Mountain Community College. And I loved it so much that I said, you know what? I need to stay in Maricopa. And I love Maricopa because they have a lot of benefits. I loved it because I could continue my education um, and continue learning. And one of my top strengths is to learn. I love to learn new things. That's my motto. I learn one new thing every single day. By the end of the year, I've learned 365 new things. That's always what I like to do. And getting that IT job allowed me to learn about the configurations of computers, learn about them networking, how to put them in the education system. And I got my degree at South Mountain Community College as an Associate of Applied Science in Cisco Professional Networking. And along the way, I was like, you know what? I didn't know I could get a bachelor's degree. So I'm going to get a bachelor's. Unfortunately, the mistake that I made was that I got an Associate of Applied Science. At that time, you could not transfer it to university. You had to get an Associate of Science. And because of financial aid and the scholarship, you're only allowed to get one degree. But I didn't let that give up. So I was fortunate to go apply for a job permanently at Phoenix College, and I got it in the Center for Teaching and Learning. And that's where my path really grew because my colleagues in the CTL really saw the potential in me and mentored me and started helping me on how to help faculty with the learning management system, Blackboard, WebCT, even different types of proctoring exams online for students. So I learned a lot about the Center for Teaching and Learning there. And even my supervisor at the time, Sandra Wells, she even mentored me and said, Patricia, you could be a technology trainer one day. You could teach other people how to do these things. Have you thought about going and pursuing your degree in that? And I started looking into that, and that's how it led me into the collaboration with NAU, with all the community colleges. And they did a 90-30 program and into technology management. And I was able to transfer 90 credits from the community college from my Cisco networking into that program and finish my bachelor's with 30 credits at NAU in technology management. So there is closing the loop of Cisco networking with technology management. But I knew there was more to that I wanted to do more into the instructional technology and help faculty implement new technologies into the classroom, right? And I saw how other CTLs were working. I collaborated a lot here with Mesa Community College. I collaborated with Phoenix College, South Mountain, Gateway, Glendale, and we all worked together. And I'm very thankful to have met all of my colleagues because throughout the years, they have mentored me and showed me all the experiences that I have in that area. And now I'm happy because I'm in my last 3 weeks to finishing my master's degree in instructional technology. On top of that, after 21 years of going through this path, actually receiving my job as an instructional technologist. So to me, that's a full circle that I've done my whole journey, and I'm very proud of that. And I wanted to inspire more girls my age and my path that it is possible. So even if you feel like it comes to an end that you can't continue, you are a teen mom, you get married, you don't know the resources, keep trying. Someone's there to help you, and I'm here to help other people as well.
Thank you. That's a very inspirational story.
Thank you.
And I think as you tell the story, I look back at said this 1970s and 80s and 90s, and think about all the people who created space, right? All the wonderful programs, whether state programs, internal programs, or federal programs. Like, it truly takes a village. And to sit and listen to somebody describe how the work and dedication of those that come before us, how that has benefited someone, and to see and feel that energy is really, really inspiring. And the fact that you want to continue that in your own life for the next person behind you is very, very encouraging. And thank you for sharing. One of the things I want to talk about with you here is I'd like to hear about a project that you've worked through a faculty member with that is now being practiced somewhere throughout Maricopa. Do you have any one particular project that you helped develop with a faculty that's really making a difference?
Yes, Eddie. So I think it's not more a project. I think it's more mentoring the faculty. So, as I spoke earlier, working in the Center for Teaching and Learning at Phoenix College, I had the opportunity to work with so many different faculty, and I enjoy this part of my job because I see it as a partnership. I see it as a team. The faculty member comes to our services and says, Patricia, I need help, right? And then I look at it as not being help. I see it as an opportunity because they are knowledgeable, they have a career, they have an expertise. And I get excited because I get to collaborate with the faculty member and learn from them. And I get to share my expertise from technology. So the way I collaborate and partner up with them, I always share this story because it really means a lot. When I had a nursing faculty member and they needed to teach online, and this was back in 2004, okay? And she's never taught online. She's never used a computer, and she was nervous to be able to use WebCT at the time as the learning management system and to be able to develop all the materials to successfully teach her online class for the nursing. And we scheduled several meetings, and I always like to connect with the faculty member first and see who they are and what their strengths are and how I could incorporate my assistance with them. And I learned that she was very scared and wanted to get everything perfect. And I said, you don't have to make everything perfect. Even if we make a mistake, we could start all over again. If something's messed up, it's not the end of the world. It's okay. It's just a piece of computer, it's just a technology piece. And she said, well, yeah, but to me, it's very important. And then that's where I felt and said, can I ask a few more questions? She's like, yes. Can I ask, what is your profession? You're in nursing, so you probably are a nurse or some type of doctor, or what was your profession before you became a teacher in nursing? And she's like, well, I'm a surgeon. Wow, you're a surgeon. And she's like, yeah, I for 30 years I practiced doing brain surgery. And I'm like, I get it. I understand. She's like, why? Because think about it. If I was in your shoes and you put me in a room to give surgery on somebody's brain, don't you think I would be nervous and want to not mess up? And you would be relaxed because you've done it for 30 years, right? You know the brain inside out. So it's the same thing here. We just have to work together. Don't feel that way. And I understand now why you want to get things perfect the first time, because when you're doing that type of work, there's no second chances. You have to get it right the first time. So I just want to let you know that in this area, you could relax and you don't have to take it that level. After that, we became so good friends and we started working together. By the end of the semester, she was a pro in using the learn management system, delivering her online classes, and she was so grateful for that. And I always treasure that story because it was my early stages in my job. And that's why I said I love this job because I'm able to not just transform students' lives, but also faculty. to be able to help our students. And even recently, this past year, I was at South Mountain Community College in the Center for Teaching and Learning, and we get hit by the pandemic, right? And within a couple of days, it was spring break. I didn't even have my spring break because my VP contacted me. How are we going to transition the classrooms? We started working immediately and creating templates for our classrooms, right? So then our faculty could immediately start incorporating this into their courses. And I had one faculty member come to me and crying and saying, Patricia, I'm going to retire because there's no way I could transition my face to face classes into online. I teach storytelling. There's no way. And I said, yes, you can. And I'm going to mentor you. And every week we would meet and we had sessions for her to develop her course. By the end of the semester, she was a pro on doing the Cisco Meets, Google Meets, the Zooms, developing her courses. She started this semester in the fall. She hasn't called me for help. So I'm like, yes. So to me, those are the projects that I like to work with faculty and inspiring them and taking them to the next level.
Yeah, so you actually do have a pedagogy that you practice. and and I am so, I'm so grateful to hear all this because when I got to Mesa 21 now or 22 years ago, we were just building a CTL and, resources and all of that stuff. But early on in my career, we enjoyed, 20,000 students. And, there was actually talk about we have too many, how our infrastructure can't handle it. Now we're down 22, 33% in certain areas of enrollment. But back then we had these great resources. And what you've described was the original intent of a CTL is to give support. And I love the fact that you key into when a faculty comes to you, you honor and respect them as an expert in what they do. And in doing so, that's why I call it a project, not,
Yeah.
because it's there is equal, this
Hmm.
is a partnership of ways, not where it starts getting into, institutional enforcement, this is how we're going to do it and all that. And that's what the CTO was originally intended for, was a place where faculty and beyond just learning basic computer skills, but where faculty could come and experiment with ideas.
Yes.
And in fact, I visited 8 of the 10 colleges with the new media lab. The provost asked me to take the show on the road. And I remember South Mountain, your VP, your dean. I mean, they were super excited. I think I was there 3 times, and we located a room, and and then COVID hit,
Yeah.
right? But it's this notion that when people work together around innovation, I mean, all kinds of exciting things can happen. You look at the downtown center of what ASU is doing now, and they've partnered with the mayor to build a $53 million building, and they're exploring all sorts of new technology, a lot of 3D technology, teaching people how to take these technology. And it's interesting around the brain surgeon because that's a group they're starting to work with hospitals, right? So you can see these little bitty cameras now when surgeons go in, and they can almost pre-program some of the operation based on anatomy particular to that person, right? The
Wow.
scanning and then rebuilding it all. And it's absolutely amazing work that they're doing. And they're just starting down this path. And there's many, many ways. And so I just think I find that so encouraging to understand how you work and what, I look forward. I think there's going to be a whole bunch of really cool, I call them projects, collaborations, whatever. And that will come out of your work with faculty. Because the other thing that I really like is I was, when I first started learning about technology, I went over to the CTL and started learning a keynote and little things, and ended up going to film school and all this stuff. And we've trained over here in the new media lab. I think we've trained like 77, something like that, Keegan, right? Up in the high 70s of faculty how to do stuff. And that was the most common thing I would hear, sidebar in the hallway. Hey, man, I've been here. Maybe I should retire, right? And that's what it's about. It's creating space for people to not feel embarrassed or
Exactly.
right. It's like that's not what this is about. We're a learning institution,
Yes.
and we actually create for a year, over a year. We actually had a team of students that trained faculty.
Wow.
It was amazing.
That's
We
awesome.
even were invited. Those students were invited to come to some conferences and share what they do. And it was this idea of knocking down this sort of hierarchical, uh, system where everybody contributes to learning.
Correct. And it would be amazing that we develop this learning community here at Mesa Community College, not just among the faculty, but the students, because the students will tell us exactly what they need in the classroom and how they use the technology, and how, as teachers, we could incorporate that into our classrooms, and work together as a team so that we could be successful. Because now, being in this 21st century, post COVID, what is it going to look like? What is the future classroom going to look like? What are students expecting to see when they come to campus? And now students in K through 12 are using technology even more now, that the expectation when they come to a community college or university is that it's higher.
That's right.
So we have that opportunity to be able to be innovative and learn and collaborate and do all these fun things. And just being here at Mesa for the past 3 months, I've even though we're working from home and some of us are working on campus, I've had the opportunity to really meet a lot of faculty already. And I could tell you, I'm very excited to be here because I could see there's a lot of talent here and there's a lot of innovation.
Right.
There's a lot of faculty that are doing amazing things that I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to learn from them. I want to learn how to do these things. Because even though I've been around with technology for 20 years, I never consider myself the expert or I'm better or I know more, because it's always changing. There's always new things to learn, and we can always learn from each other.
That's
And
right.
I just love that. And it
Well,
just excites me.
we can when people, have an open mind to that, and we get rid of that hierarchical kind of way.
Mhm.
I brought over the folks from disabilities a couple days ago here, and I showed them a new way I'm presenting my curriculum visually and auto, using audio, but visual stuff. Because I was, it's sort of this weird thing as a faculty. You have a student show up, and the instructions from disability are you're not allowed to talk about this person's disability, right? I mean, there's all this federal law like don't. But then we're also asked to create a curriculum that accommodates students, right? So what I started doing over time was instead of just doing the, caption on video or certain things for one or two students, I just over the last few years just started building a curriculum for the whole class and just cast the net wide and far.
No, that's good because you're building that equitability for everyone.
Yeah,
Because even me, throughout the years, I like to use a closed caption because sometimes I'm in my room and my baby was asleep and I couldn't have that. Or I don't like to really use a lot of headphones.
yeah,
So reading it helps me a lot.
right.
So I love those closed captions.
Yeah, no, I mean it's important, but there's also the next step, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so,
Yeah, because there's also different learning styles.
yeah, that's what I
So,
was going to say is whether a person has identified as a
uh-huh.
disability learner. I think most of the students that show up here are lean really towards global learners. Some people don't, but it doesn't matter because if you create curriculum in which people can revisit visually and they can listen to it and all of that stuff, it's just that next layer of
Correct.
using innovation for what it was intended for,
Yeah,
right?
because your brain learns in so many different ways and you're using all your five senses too. So you're
Exactly.
seeing, you're hearing.
Yeah,
You're able to retain that information longer too.
and it does create a better sense of community.
Yes.
Because early on, even with Canvas, like so at when I did my work up at NAU, we used Blackboard. And Blackboard was always never looked right for me. In the same way with editing software at film school, Keegan over here was the film school. You were the technologist at the film school, and he taught everybody Avid. I mean, he's brilliant. Avid, Adobe, Premiere, Final Cut, any kind of thing in that area. Keegan is the master of.
I'm gonna come and visit you.
Yeah, you should. But I would sit down in front of Avid. Now, this was the last year we were still using film in the film school before it went digital. And I would look at Avid and it would give me a headache. Like I just, but the day one of those folks over there at Scottsdale Film School pulled up Adobe Premiere, it was like everything in my brain went, and I understood it. I've not gotten that great at it, but I understand it. It makes sense. It feels good to my brain. And it was the same way with Blackboard and Canvas. I look at Blackboard, it just looked like a mess to me. And then as soon as Canvas popped up, I was like, oh, yeah, this is nice.
Yeah.
And because of the CTL, I mean, I need support here and there. But at least Canvas looks really friendly to me, right?
Yeah, it's very easily to use. There's not a lot of buttons that you have to click.
Yeah.
So even if you're a novice and beginner, if you know how to click buttons, you can figure your way out and not mess up too much stuff in there.
Yeah.
I think where the CTL comes in handy is to help you with best practices
Right.
of how to develop a good course in Canvas. So it's easy to navigate for the students. Because you could easily add so much content that later you have a mess.
Right.
And then the students are through a scavenger hunt or through a maze through your course.
Right.
It may not have a good experience. So this beginning of the semester, we offered the Getting Started with Canvas and 10 steps. So we had workshops with that. So I'm able to help you guys develop your courses really quickly to get you going.
Yeah.
And then I also experienced faculty still need more help in different areas. So I've been writing my notes down. And now this coming up September, October, and November, I'm going to plan more in detail workshops, more in like rubrics, assignments, the grade book, and things like that, more in just in time training and time them in the way that they're going to need it. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
Well, that is the sequence, that I've
Mhm.
been, that is important when you go from a face to face. I mean, I used to carry around a grade book in
Mhm.
my backpack with handwritten grades in it. That's how we used to do it.
Mhm.
And there's a connection that is created between you and your student with that,
Got it.
right? I mean, you can flip open your grade book, you can talk. There's a connection. And then for those of us that have tried alternatives to traditional rubric grading, there has to almost be a personal connection with your student to make that evaluation. Now I've progressed and I have my own way of grading now, but it is very, very important to have a rubric. And so inside of Canvas, to have the rubric, to have the assignment, to have the module that all link to a grade.
Correct.
And so learning how to implement sort of a more postmodern way of grading
Yes.
than traditional Canvas can be limited, and you have to figure out that pathway, and it can be done. I think I'm there now,
Okay.
but I just it doesn't matter because when I look at the technology of Canvas, it just makes complete sense to me.
Yes.
Even though there's been times where things are not working inside of Canvas,
Mhm.
Anyway, I think it's a good program. But then, I have colleagues, their brain works where they look at Blackboard and it's like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
so
Yeah, there's different flavors for everyone.
yeah, yeah.
And
But
it's like the computers, you either are a Mac person or a Windows person. It's just whichever you started with first.
Beatles or the Rolling
Or an
Stones.
iPhone, Android. It's like, so it's a little bit of everything. And
Yeah,
yeah, and everything does a purpose. So whatever works
yeah.
for your goal and it's working, then Good.
Yeah, yeah. Ford, Chevy,
Yes.
Beatles, Stones, chocolate, vanilla.
Yes.
Yeah, let's make room for everybody.
Makes it unique, so not everybody's the same.
That's right. That's right. As long and that's why I say, that sense of it's it's a little, just make sure that's why I don't like getting into that hierarchy. We're going to use this way, and this is the way you're. That's not education. That's a whole nother thing. But anyway, I want to really thank you for coming by today, giving us your time, letting the community get to know you. I really, really look forward to working with you. I think we have a lot to share, and I think many faculty are going to benefit from your presence. Let everybody know how they can get a hold of you. How can they get a hold of you if they want to come see you?
Awesome. Yes. Well, thank you, Eddie, for inviting me to be part of this podcast. It's very exciting to be able to introduce myself, especially not everybody's on campus, so everybody can get to know me a little bit more. I'm located in the Center for Teaching and Learning Department in AS 160, and my office is AS 168. I'm there on campus Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. On Wednesdays is my virtual days, but I came to come into the podcast. And you guys could get a hold of me there. You guys could also email me at patricia.herrera at mesacc.edu and email me any questions that you guys may have or any projects you guys want to collaborate, you want to research. Because even though you're bringing in a new idea, I won't say no because I don't know how to do it. I'll learn it with you. I'll be like, you know what? Let's go on this journey together. So I'm welcome to learn new things. So don't just come for the stuff that we offer, also come for new stuff that you want to implement. So I welcome that.
Great. Eddie Webb, we are here at the new Media Lab at Mesa Community College, and we want to welcome you to the community, and we look forward to your work. In my dad's language, they say, Dona de koha'i hawa hawa. See y'all again, and remember, take care of each other. We're all we have. Thank you.